Hello and welcome back to the Fixing Football podcast with me, Mark Chapman. Sorry, no, I'm not Mark Chapman. That was Luke's shit joke from last week. Sorry, Martin Naylor. That's the one. I'm joined by Scott Naylor tonight. The brother is in the house, and unfortunately, Liam and Luke can't be with us. But their lawyers have been in touch, and we hope the allegations aren't true, and they're confident that they're going to beat everything. Scott, how are you doing, brother?
All good. My lawyers advised me not to speak on that situation at this present time.
Fair.
I'm staying quiet. I'm fucking wonderful that you got your own name wrong in the intro. That's fantastic. It's made my evening.
Let's do a quick recap from the weekend. First of all, the big derby. I think that's where we start there. Brentford v Chelsea. Has there ever been more of a 2-2 written in stone than that match going in? It's the most mid-table clash I've ever been ready to put a bet on, which I didn't do.
It really is. And what are we? I'm looking now. We're separated by 10 points, but in reality, like this is what Luke's argument in the group chat for all the listeners was that because Chelsea are above Brentford in the table, we should have won very easily. But my argument back was, we're not very far off Brentford's level. Like it's actually, like you said, it's the most even game you can probably get in the league at the moment, and it was. It seemed like again costly errors. Every game this season, we come out in the second half 100 times worse than we did in the first. I don't know what he's saying to these players. We go in 1-0 at half time.
It's funny you mentioned that.
Half an hour maybe.
There was that article came out today, as we're recording this Monday, that there was an article that they'd done a league table of first half, second half, and Chelsea were actually, I think they were 7th on the first half table and 18th on the second half table.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, so I saw some stat and it was like Chelsea would be relegated if we were basing on second half. So I was like, well, if we only played half a game, we'd be going like a fucking pointless stat. But it does tell a story, doesn't it? It shows you that something at half time is going badly wrong. We're doing something right in the first half. We're playing quite well. We're getting a good foothold in a game, but I don't know what he's doing to counteract all of that good work. I don't know whether he tells them to take the foot off the gas, whether he's too conservative when we go ahead. It seems to me like he's more worried about what an opposition team can do to us rather than what we could do to them. And we saw it in the extra time of the cup final. We were on the front foot right at the end of the second half. We were peppering the Liverpool goal. And you thought, you know what? I said this to Liam, he disagreed, but full time came at the right time for Liverpool. They were glad of it. And then extra time, because you think, right, just keep doing that and we'll be fine. And we just stood there. So
like he's trying to be, he's doing. Yeah, it's like he's trying to do that cautious, play it safe move, but he doesn't have the personnel to do it.
He doesn't
be letting him do what they need to do.
He's an idiot. He's not the only problem at Chelsea, but I think he is a big problem. And
he seems to have the backing though.
Yeah, and to be honest though, I was thinking about this, and I don't really think the owners have got much choice because, they're all egomaniacs, as every football club owner must be.
Well, it was actually that article that you shared in the group today about the business side of, who was that in the video? If you just describe that one for us.
Yeah, so it was an article from, I think it was like one of Clear Lake's annual conferences, and one of the heads of Clear Lake was up on stage talking about their whatever they're up to this year. And naturally, the subject of Chelsea came up because it was, a big story at the time. And it was all of the top. I can't remember the guy's name. It wasn't Bowley, it wasn't Egg Barley, it was some other.
Yeah, it's the other one, the other main guy.
I think so. There's quite Clear Lake. I'm not 100% sure is the structure. There's quite a lot of names I've seen banded around. But this guy talking about Chelsea, and his overall message was, our aim is to build a successful, viable business. And he talks about, winning's important, but basically it was almost, regardless of the results on the pitch, we need to run a viable business. That was basically the gist of what he was saying.
Yeah, they're just hoping that winning is a byproduct of having a successful business, when I think really he needs to know that for a football club, winning is the fundamental part of being successful. You can be...
For this football club, for this football club in particular.
Well, yeah. I mean, they've had that expectation. But if you look at, say, someone like Brighton, for example, Chelsea know them as a very good business, but I think they're well regarded as a good business club.
Oh, yeah.
But that comes off them being their most successful ever, of coming through the leagues and building the club up in the right way. So even though they've not gone on to, the glory that Chelsea have done over the last 20 years, they're still in the height of their most successful period. So yes, they are running a successful business, but that is on the back of them being successful on the pitch to a degree, obviously a lower level, but I think it's a real bad look that for Chelsea when I saw that. So
it's awful. And like you said, it's Brighton, and it's like the levels of success are so different.
Yeah.
Like this is good for Brighton to be a money making club who exist in the upper mid table. That's great for them. Like if they never got a Champions League place ever, it wouldn't matter to their fans. It would be that's fine. They're probably seeing the club closer to going bust than they have to the Champions League. So
100%.
it all on the book. It's probably a wonderful business model, and I bet it all looks great. But we've been spoiled by the Abramovich era, where we had what most football club fans would call their dream owner, who has a bottomless pit of money, doesn't care how much he spends, he just wants to see his team win trophies by any means necessary. And I don't think we're going to see that again. It would be very lucky to see that again. Well, I guess maybe from the Middle East, but by and large, I think those days are over, and it's
so there's 2 points on that. The other good thing about Abramovich is he never said anything. He is very much the golden goose. Well, he was when it came to getting an interview. I've heard people, talk. There was a piece on Sky Sports, sort of when they did the 25 years of Sky Sports, and they were talking about who their dream interview was. And it wasn't Beckham or Sir Alex or Thierry Henry. Many of them said it was Abramovich because he's so notoriously hard to get hold of. He just doesn't give interviews. I think he's given one since his opening statement when he took over Chelsea, and that was probably that year as well. So obviously that's not going to happen anytime soon, and definitely not with him. But my second point, the fact that you referenced owners, is what did you make of the Nottingham Forest owner being on the pitch after the Liverpool game? Because I guess that's a big talking point this weekend.
Yeah, I think it's a tricky one, isn't it? Because we want the Abramovich owner, but then now we're in a situation. We can go back to when Arsenal fans were against the Kroenkes. The big issue for them is that they weren't around enough, and it was like, where's the happy medium between anonymous golden goose, as you say, like Abramovich, and silent owner who doesn't seem to care? Like, where's the middle ground on that? And in being on I get it. Don't get me wrong. Like, not. I mean, maybe we'll talk about that later, but an absolutely atrocious call.
Yeah, well, let's get onto it. The big shitter is that. Oh my God, I was so praying for this 0-0 as well. 99th minute it struck, and I was like, oh my God, I'm just hoping Liverpool and City drop points purely for my own enjoyment and Arsenal's hopeful success. But I need them to start slipping up, and they're going to keep scabbing goals like that. What I will say, and I do want to talk about the referee, but what I will take from it is that we did that a couple of times last season, where we, like the Bournemouth game, which was a year ago today, and Reece Nelson scores in the 96th minute, and we win 3-2. We did that a couple of times. We got away with one against Villa, ended up winning 4-2, but we snatched it right at the end there. So I do, and I mentioned this last week, but I do think Liverpool are going to run out of steam. They're going to run out of luck, even with the players coming back that they have. So that's my only silver lining to that. I'm so pissed off that it went in, though.
Yeah. I don't know about you, but I'm fully convinced that the flop farewell tour victory parade is like, it's already booked. It's already in the cards. It doesn't matter what anybody does.
Well, apparently they've already got a parade booked for for winning the Carabao Cup. Has that ever been done since Swansea?
No, it hasn't. And it's the fact that, like I said on the last one, Jamie Carragher saying, "Oh, put this next to your Champions League, Jurgen." Like, are you on heroin? What are you talking about? You clown.
That's a valid question, isn't it? It's a question. It's not an accusation.
It's just ridiculous. It's absolutely outrageous. But yeah, I think this. Yeah, I think it was one of those. It's one of those. Again, it's a proper cliche, isn't it? That's this kind of game that when you win a league, you pick up those kind of results, and that's usually you look back on it and you think, yeah, we got. But I am a big believer, though. I guess the argument I've seen from Liverpool fans, I don't know if what you think on this, is that it sort of makes right the issue that they had in the Spurs game early in the season.
Yeah, they always say it evens itself out at some point.
I'm a big
somehow.
believer in that because the referees are shocking. For every mistake they make against your team, they'll make one for you as well. Like it will, on average, balance out over the course of the season.
Like they have
their own.
They have their own little tally chart in the Stockley Park office, and they just go, right, we all Liverpool won at some point. We've got to take one off. We'll see where we need to. Yeah. I mean, that's the conspiracy that I think a lot of fans have had for a long time. It's just trying to visualize that. But we're just seeing such. I mean, they've announced today that they've taken Paul Tierney off refereeing this weekend. Luckily for me, he's going to be on VAR for Arsenal against Brentford. But the fact that they've taken him off, even Mike Dean has come out, who usually protects his mates at all costs. So either he doesn't like Paul Tierney for some reason, or this one is so blatantly awful. And for anyone that doesn't know, who's been had their head in the sand for the last 3 days, it was when there was a drop ball and there was an incident in the box, in the Liverpool box from a Nottingham Forest corner, and then the referees give the ball back to Liverpool when Nottingham Forest were in possession. And everyone has come out and slated that this was wrong. It should have been dropped to Nottingham Forest. They should have carried on the chance. I think Hudson-Odoi had the ball on the wing ready to cross it again. So, But then Liverpool go up the other end and score. Now there's 90 seconds in between the goalkeeper taking the resulting drop ball and then winning I think they win a free kick and then it all ends up bouncing in after that. But
yeah,
I mean, there's a lot to say that shouldn't happen, but
it shouldn't. You could also argue
influences it.
You could also argue that Forest. I watched like the whole fricka reading up to that, and Forest probably had chances to get rid of that ball anyway. I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't make it right. Doesn't make it right, but if you're the Forest defense, you've got to look back on that and say, "What the fuck are we doing?"
Yeah, it's a bad one to concede.
Yeah, it's not good.
So I was gonna say you couldn't write it, but it sounds like someone has done, and everyone's sticking to script at the moment.
You fucking can. Here's a question: Do you like? And I do wonder this. Like we all have a laugh and a joke about the referees and the conspiracy and Liverpool and all this stuff. Do you genuinely believe that there is a cabal of referees and officials with agendas against certain clubs?
No, but I am the fact that they are humans, they are real people, and not bots who run around with the Premier League rules just being able to spout it out, which hopefully is coming, and we can get away from any of this interpretation bollocks.
Yeah.
No, I don't think there is any predetermined prejudice going into a match versus one team or another. Everyone always says this guy hates me. I only have to mention Anthony Taylor's name to you and I see you curl up and your head starts getting red and you just
it's great.
Exactly. But do I think that I don't know, the people are just people. They're from areas and some of these referees grew up wanting to be a footballer, hating Man United.
Yeah.
So
true.
Do they do something in a match that might influence Man United's result? Or the other way around? Are they doing something in a City v Liverpool match that might benefit one way or the other? I don't know.
Weren't many of them United hating refs in the 90s and 2000s, were there?
Oh, they had them wrapped up. They're the brown paper bag. Sir Alex's brown paper bag army. I'm sure he employed a team of brown paper bag experts.
Oh God, yeah! Like those TikToks I've been sending, where it's like the football conspiracies. It's like United had refs on the payroll, and it's like sometimes you go back and you look at some of this shit that went down, and you think it wouldn't be that weird, would it? It wouldn't be that wild
You know what
for it to come out.
I went down a rabbit hole recently, and one of my favourite ever players, growing up especially, was Michael Owen. I actually got to meet him not so long ago, and it was
Where?
one of the Chester races.
That's random. Or was he just there chilling and you?
He's always there. He's well into his horses, and he owns horses, and
Fez.
so he's always there. And I was DJing and got to meet him, and he was kind and lovely and whatever else. He was a supple man, gentle in his touch.
Was he kind to you? Was he gentle?
Yeah. No, he's a nice guy. But I went. So if you, other than the 1998 World Cup goal for England, what Michael Owen moment comes to mind for you, just off the top of your head? What is he known for? Do you think?
This is bad, but it's.
I won't. Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's that one for United.
That's what I remember it for.
Well, the one that I was referring to is I think it's the 2000 or 2001 FA Cup final against Arsenal.
In that horrific orange kit. Yeah.
So in, I think, about the 85th minute, he scores an equaliser. This is totally off topic, by the way. And then in 91st minute, he scores again. I watched the highlights of that match recently because they were doing something about Michael Owen. And I, like I say, I love him as a player and just a childhood icon. But if VAR would have been in play that day, it'd have been 19-0 to Arsenal. It was a joke of a match. I don't remember it well because obviously it's 20 odd years ago. Yeah. But Stefan Henshaw stopped one on the ball with his hand, stopped one on the line with his hand. There was a scything red card tackle on Sylvain Wiltord. They should have been down to 8 men in the first half. Absolutely. I know we've gone seriously off topic, but those are the days when you think, God, why can't they use these bloody computers to help them out? Yeah. Shite these referees. But that's when the cabal, Fergie's cabal was in full flow. He had some influence on that in Cardiff that day. And there was a foul on, I think it was Martin Keown, in the build-up to Owen's second goal. Anyway. So that's what game
I'm thinking. You know exactly what game I'm thinking of now, don't you?
Well, we can get onto the Barcelona one in a minute because we're going to do Champions League tonight. So yeah, that was the YouTube wormhole section. Let's have a quick chat about the Manchester derby. Seeing as Luke's not here, we need to cover for him. And Liam's not here to give his scathing opinion on Rashford and Ten Hag. He likes to give some snaky lines in at some point. But United 1-0 up. I thought I was in again. I thought this is it. I thought I nearly had a weekend of City and Liverpool dropping points, and we've got Sheffield United tonight. But
no, they weren't going to be so kind. They weren't going to be so kind, were they?
No. Just give us your overriding thoughts on the match, and then what came around, especially afterwards when City got the equaliser, and then from then on.
Yeah. So I have had strong words for Marcus Rashford, and they still remain to this day. I don't think he's very good. And I've never really thought he's very good, to be quite honest. I don't really know where this... Joe, when, at the moment, he's not playing very well. And it's acting like he's this, fallen star who's, going through... I think this is just who he is. I think that when he's good, that's he's purple patch Rashford. He's playing above his station when he's the Rashford of maybe last season where you get 25 goals or something.
He had a stunning season last year.
Yeah.
And, he deserved all the plaudits that he got for it. He was great, especially it was patchy, but more often than not, he was great. But I've been saying to you for a lot of years, Theo Rashford.
Yeah, he literally is. Yeah.
It is Theo Walcott reincarnate as a Manc.
It's uncanny, isn't it? When you properly compare the two, it's scarily similar.
There's so much in common. They're known for the pace. Whether they are or they're not a striker, who knows? They don't even seem to know themselves.
Yeah. Young wonder kid in a World Cup squad too soon.
Exactly.
They all just... But one thing I will say for him is what a goal.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. And he does this from time to time. And I always remember his free kick against us in a cup game. And I was slagging him off right up
Unbelievable free
until
kick.
I was like, Rashford's on it. They're like, it's only Ray Parlour.
Yeah,
Like, it was like that.
40-yard screamer, like knuckleball, wasn't it?
It was horrible to watch. Like Kepa in there, I could fucking score against the useless prick. But anyway,
Yeah, going through like
digress.
the way I felt about Walcott is that he was so close to being this world beater, and he got to 27, 28, and you just got to cut your losses and be like, I don't think it's going to happen for Walcott.
Yeah, the moment had gone.
It's been 12 years. I don't think it's happening. And I just feel like that's
Yeah.
just around the corner for Rashford, really. He's just going to
Hey.
be this nearly man. And unless he can adapt his game, I still think there is a valuable squad player in there, even a valuable starting 11 player, just not this main guy, Ballon d'Or nominee. I don't think he's there.
He's not
or ever going to be.
He's not what the British sporting media would have you believe he is, and he's 27 this year. 27 in October.
Yeah. If you don't know what you are at this point,
yeah, it's too late. The game's passed you by. But so going back to the game itself, thought after that United were kind of just emptying water out of a leaking boat. Almost, they were sort of just holding City off. They didn't play badly in the first half, I didn't think, but you could sort of see that they were slowly running out of ideas and they were running out of ways to get forward themselves and losing the legs to keep City out. And we talk up Rashford, but someone who has got a lot of plaudits. And I'd love to know what you thought of his performance. But Phil Foden, Jesus, he was, and this is something that I've been saying for a while about Foden. Unbelievably talented, but he was just missing that. Like, can he be that guy who, when the game is 0-0 or it's a stalemate or his team's down, can he be that guy? Like what Kevin De Bruyne's done for years, what Henry did for you lot, what I've seen Frank Lampard do for Chelsea. Can he be that kind of player who is, I'm going to fucking sort this out? Beckham against Greece, that sort of. And that's what he did. He was unbelievable yesterday.
Really, really good performance, and I'm glad Southgate was there to watch it in person, probably so we could tell Foden, after the match in person, that Jordan Henderson will still be starting at the Euros in the summer. So
I saw a tweet, and it said, it was a picture of Southgate, and it was like, Phil's playing well, almost as good as Jordan against Utrecht.
Yeah. Yeah, it'd be Henderson and Phillips starting, no matter what happens. Yeah. But no, and we are gonna speak about England soon because there's gonna be some friendlies coming up, and it'd be good for us to all give a bit of a prediction about the squad. What especially the starting 11 going into the Euros. But Foden's got to be there. He's really put himself in the frame, and I think De Bruyne being injured all season has helped. He's had to step up.
Yeah, and I think that's something he's not had to really do up until now.
And also, his goal was amazing. His first goal was amazing. His touch there's not many better in the Premier League with that first touch. He drives the ball really well. He reminds me a lot of Wilshere, just a lot more polished than, that he's got a similar style. I don't think he could play deep like Wilshere, but I also don't think Wilshere could have ever been the attacking force that I think Foden can be. So there's them similarities. I just think it also highlights how good De Bruyne is to come back in. And you saw a lot of De Bruyne going out to the left wing and occupying spaces on the wing so Foden could go inside. And De Bruyne was still pulling as many strings as he was. I just think
he's a cheat code of a footballer, that guy.
De Bruyne, he eradicates any argument about the best, this Scholes, Gerrard, Lampard argument that people have been having for years because at the moment they're all fighting for second place. That's an argument for second place now. I'd love to throw Roy Keane and Patrick Vieira in that argument if you're talking about midfielders, but
it pains me. It genuinely pains me, but I'd actually have Patrick Vieira as second on that list. I'd have De Bruyne top like you, and I actually think as a complete all-round footballer. Yeah, we're going well off topic here, but Patrick Vieira is unbelievable.
This is what a regular. If we was having this conversation in the pub, this is where we'd end up anyway. So
yeah, exactly.
Yes, I agree. If I had to write a list, I don't know where Vieira would be second or third. I love Gerrard. and maybe we saw, we had a longer spell of Gerrard's peak years in the Premier League where we sort of lost Vieira close to the, just after his peak at Arsenal.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
So maybe that edges it for me. But yeah, De Bruyne is he's better than all of them at everything.
Yeah, he probably is. Yeah,
stats wise, everyone can always throw that someone got this more assists or this one got, Lampard clearly got more goals than all of them. Someone did more goals, but I still, rate as a footballer, as a footballing brain, as a guy who controls the game, who can do whatever he wants with the ball. He's just masterful. He's a pure master of the ball. So, right, fucking hell, let's wrap up this De Bruyne wank fest before we turn this into a rated R podcast.
Still look at pictures of him in his Chelsea kit and was like, oh, could have been us.
De Bruyne and Salah.
Oh, fucking hell. You know what? Salah, I actually don't mind because he was shit. He was absolutely terrible for us, and there was no inkling that he was going to go on to be Mohamed Salah. So I had no issue with that. I still don't to this day because it was right at the time. But Kevin De Bruyne, I've said this to you multiple times. I saw him in his debut, and I was like, this kid is. When you see a guy play for the first time, you're like, who the fuck is this? And why is he so good? And then he never played again. He played one game, and Mourinho said, yeah, fuck off.
He made, De Bruyne was clearly had his head screwed on in terms of a guy who was determined to succeed no matter where or what cost. So
big time. Sure.
While we're talking about, we mentioned Foden, we mentioned Salah for a second. Then we'll talk a little bit about Arsenal because thankfully we don't have to talk about Bolton this week. Obviously, with no Liam here, we don't have to mention that Ian Everett's losing the plot and is absolutely losing his way. So we'll let Liam pick that one up next week. Lawyers permitting. Every time Salah or Foden have a good game or score, Saka starts trending on Twitter because the fans come out and they're saying, "Oh, Arsenal fans are saying that Saka's better than this guy. You having me on?"
I see this with Hazard tends to trend as well when Salah plays well. I don't really know where this comes from. I don't know why they're always compared.
It's just every time.
It's weird. It's bizarre.
You can't have two great players at the same time. It's always got to be
no,
more.
It's not. No, it's not allowed.
But
one's allowed to be good.
There was it was quite well publicised, but Saka had reached 100 goal involvements by the age he was 22. So I think it was 51 goals, 49 assists. He'd done that quicker than Cristiano Ronaldo, which that's a serious it's a serious stat, and it really backs up especially what Arsenal fans think about him. But he is very highly rated across the country. I would say he's very likable. What I would say, because we got onto this and it made me think of it, we mentioned Salah. What was Salah doing when he was 22? He was failing everywhere, especially in European football. So what Salah has gone on to do. I mean, Salah's stats are unbelievable.
Oh, he's insane.
The freak stats.
I don't like watching him play. Funnily enough, I don't think he's just a super athlete. He's like Ivan Drago to Eden Hazard's Apollo Creed, and he's even Drago. He's like made in a lab, absolute freak of nature. Sprint, R2 finesse finish. That's him.
Yeah.
Whereas Hazard is like the right stick and all the directions and the fucking.
Yeah, he's the guy who's playing with a broken controller, but it still sort of wins a lot of the time. Just like, oh fuck, I did that. Yeah. Both unbelievable.
Quick question on that though. Do you worry with Saka that perhaps he might peak very early? A bit like who did we see do that? I had a player in there, but it's gone now.
Sterling,
do you worry?
I think
perhaps,
I think Sterling's. I think he's on Sterling's path at the moment a little bit more than Cristiano Ronaldo's path, for example.
Yeah,
I think Bukayo Saka has played a lot of games. Yeah. Even if there is a fitness doubt, if on a Friday there's the Mikel Arteta press conference, they'll say, "Oh, Saka's not trained," and this, and then he'll start and he'll play 9 minutes. And if we're winning 4-0, with 20 minutes to go, Saka stays on, and you can hear all the Arsenal fans like, fucking take him off, man, just give him a rest. But on the counteract to that is players like Cristiano Ronaldo are the same, have been the same. No, I'm not putting Saka in the same bracket talent-wise as Ronaldo. I'm certainly not.
Yeah,
I don't think he will reach them levels, especially at goal scoring. I think Ronaldo is the greatest goal scorer the world has ever and will ever see.
I agree.
Yeah, he's played a lot of games, and we're hoping that doesn't result in a long-term injury at some point. I just hope he continues on this path. He seems to have his head screwed on straight. He seems to be quite down to earth. He's just a massive talent. He's been carrying the club for 3 to 4 years now. And yeah, if he wants a break, he deserves one. Of all the players in the squad, he deserves one.
I do think you need to get someone who can deputise for him a bit. And I know you laughed at it, but I actually think someone like Brian Mbuemo is in that category of he'll never take his place, but he'll always be good enough to step, a bit like Trossard almost. Like, he's good enough to come in and do a bit and take the load off, but he'll never and it's fine. Some players, that's their job. It's not to be not everyone has to push for a starting place, because otherwise you'll get a team of unhappy players. So I think somebody like that in that ilk, maybe not him exactly, but I actually think he's class, to be fair.
Yeah. I don't not see Gabriel Jesus falling into that role at times if we do go and get a striker. If we do go into the summer, it's been talked about a lot, but if we do go out and get a new number 9, I see room for Jesus on the wing as well somewhere, so rotation could happen in that fashion.
Yeah,
it's a weird one to be on the market for. He's like, we're in the market for a sub. It's like, do you want to come to Arsenal and be on the bench?
And I think that's why you need to dip in the ponds of like a Brentford. If you're Brian Mbuemo and you're thinking, right, I can stay at Brentford and start.
Trossard is just the perfect signing at the time.
Someone who kind of understands where he fits into the structure. And he's like, it was like we saw this when Spurs couldn't get a striker to play back up to Kane. And I think striker may be slightly different because it's a bit of an it's much more of an ego-driven position than anything else. Every striker's like, I'm number 9. I'm going to take his shirt. Like, no, you fucking not. But yeah, I think you could. It's a shame West Ham have had such a somewhat good season, because someone like Jared Bowen could have been a shout, but they're probably doing too well for him to want to do that.
Yeah, you just got to look, a little bit lower, maybe. But then I don't know. We could get into names.
Pedro Neto.
Pedro Neto's high on my list, so I will be forwarding that on to Edu at the end of the season. We'll have a chat. Good old football manager Chinwag. Right, let's have a quick break because we've got some Champions League shizzle to get thrizzle. And we're back. Right. Champions League is back this week. And so they've announced today about the new structure for next season. But it's funny, actually, because a few times it's come up recently, and I think you were one who brought it up, but is it just dead, the Champions League? Does it need this new format, do you think, to liven it back up again? Has it lost its magic, would you say?
I think it has, to a degree, and I'm speaking as a jaded Chelsea fan.
We're not in it, it's shit.
Yeah, you know what? There is a small element of that with me, and I'll be completely honest. I'm heavily biased towards my team, and if we're not, it's a bit like doing that in Eddie Murphy's stand-up when he's talking about the moonwalk. I can't do it. That's why it's stupid.
Yes,
that's literally what it's like. So if we're not in it, I do find it hard to
blasted to our childhood there for anyone who's Eddie Murphy's stand-up at Queen.
Yeah, if you watch Raw or Delirious, I can't remember which one it's on, but do yourselves a favour. But I do find it much harder to really buy in if we're not in it. And I think that one reason is because it's my club. But two, I actually also think, by and large, when Chelsea are in the Champions League, we make a good account of ourselves. We tend to get to a decent stage, and we've won it a couple of times. We don't show England up the way United have been doing in the last few years. So it's like when you see United in the Champions League, you're like, well, they're going to be out in the groups, or round of 16 anyway. It's like, that's a wasted space. Chelsea and Liverpool, even though Liverpool aren't in it this time, we tend to be some of the most successful clubs in that competition from England.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's the new format that's going to. I think it's before that. I think it's, I guess, the rise of the super club. We've got clubs in it who really probably shouldn't be there. Celtic are in it every year. What are the? Well, oh, actually, they're not. That's them. But at Celtic's expense, you have like Young Boys or Cluj or fucking whoever else these gibbers are. It's the Champions League. I don't think it should just be the winners of every cup, every league, because then it's a short tournament and that's pretty boring. And you still have some, the winner of the Danish league, like they're going to get battered as well. But I think a few things like the dawn of the mega rich super club, the success of the Premier League's made it a bit worse as well. I think because money's come out of other leagues.
I think. Sorry, I was just going to say that I think the Premier League is the main rival to the Champions League. And like I did mention last week, that I would rather, and I don't think I'm on my own in this feeling, and not just as an Arsenal fan, I think, maybe when you've won 3 titles in a row like City have, maybe the Champions League is really special then. But I guarantee going into City's first title, if you'd have asked them which one they'd rather won that season, I think it would have been the Premier League. And I just think it's because our league is so hard. Our league is harder than getting through the knockout stages of the Champions League.
Yeah,
I would back most Premier League clubs, seeding aside and stuff like that. Obviously, Luton playing Real Madrid's not going to work out very well, but seeding aside, I'd back a lot of Premier League clubs to get through. Well, I could say Luton aside, but Man United and Newcastle aside as well. But like I said, when we talk about is it a bit dead this year? I think Real Madrid winning it 3 times in a row didn't help. Even though they're all special and unique in their own way, sort of didn't help this argument that is so magic.
Do you know why I don't think that in particular was a problem? Is because it was a bit of it was like no one had done it back to back before, and it was like, oh wow, that's amazing. And then it was like, can they do it? And then like there was a little story to if they won it a 4th, it's like, all right, boys, we get it. Chill out.
This.
Like
this is stupid. This is stupid.
Yeah, I can't win it. That's why it's stupid. So I think that one is okay, and I think the Premier League's an interesting one because I think it's the perception. It's our perception of what we'd rather win, but it's also because the Premier League sides have so much cash and such a dominance of the game. Like Juventus and AC Milan are never going to they're not the teams that they used to be. They used to be giants of European football, and they still are in name and legacy. But
they're always going to be hard to beat on the day. Yeah, it's like you're right. They're always going to be hard to beat on the day, but over the course of a season, could they do it in the Premier League? Could Juventus do it? Honestly, I don't think they could.
Probably not. I mean, you think about like the AC Milan team that Liverpool beat. That was like the last great AC Milan team I remember.
By the way, my favourite goal of all time was in that match.
Yeah, and I knew you were going to say that.
The Crespo goal to make it 3-0. I'm very happy for Liverpool. Blah blah blah. It was a lovely night, Istanbul. But as a single piece of footballing artistry, there isn't. If you can find me a more beautiful goal than Crespo's goal to make it 3-0, then good luck. And I ain't seen it yet.
Just wait for the Twitter bots to send you a link to Elmander's goal for Bolton, whenever that was.
Oh yeah, God, can't forget Elmander. What about when Anelka scored against Arsenal, Martin? Shut up, Luke.
But back to that. Like my overarching point is, that AC Milan team, you come up against that and you'd be like, oh shit, like Kaká, Inzaghi, Maldini, Seedorf. You'd be like, oh my gosh, this is. But if you come up against AC Milan now, you're like, easy tie. We'll get through that.
Yeah.
And it's
Loftus-Cheek.
Who is tearing it up, by the way. I will say for him, he is doing very well this year. So I'm very happy for him.
Oh, they don't strike fear.
Not particularly, no. And when you think about the teams who aren't English, the only ones you don't really want to face are Real and Bayern Munich, really.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're not really that arsed about anyone else. And I think that takes away from if you're playing Real Madrid, it's a big game. If you're playing one of the other English teams, again, it's a big game, but see it twice a season. I don't want to see it here. It's
Yeah.
yeah.
There is something, even though we are, we're back and we're doing well in it this year. There is something that is slightly lacking. And look, we don't have a choice really. There's nothing we can fix about this one particularly, but because I think the fix is already in place for us by UEFA, and we just got to wait and see how it plays out. This new format is mad confusing though. Have you had a read through how it's going to be laid out?
Yeah. So
It's
I don't
three sections of 8 teams.
Yeah, I think I watched the little video explainer that I sent in the group, and that actually made it quite simple. And then on Talksport, Andy Goldstein, the illiterate motherfucker, was trying to read it out, and I think he made it sound more complicated on purpose to try and this doesn't make any sense. It's ridiculous. This just to annoy Darren Bent sitting across.
I think that's because he's stupid. He makes Darren Bent seem like an intellectual, like he went to Harvard and yeah.
So yeah, I actually don't. I don't think it's that complicated, and I think Darren Bent actually made a good point. I think he said that we'll kick up a fuss about it for a couple of years, and then we'll be like, it's actually not that bad, and we'll just get used to it. But you made a great point in the WhatsApp chat that the away goals, getting rid of that is killed.
Yeah,
the knockout ties. It is so boring,
and that's definitely going to be gone in this format, in this new format.
Yeah,
because it's like a league, and then there's a playoff bit for the second third of the league, and then the bottom third get relegated or gone. They're gone from all European competitions, so no one drops that into Europa League, so that doesn't happen anymore.
Like that. I do like that element of it.
Yeah, I like that. I don't like people going into that. Yeah. So, yeah, the away goals have just killed any jeopardy. Like when we played Porto last week, we ended up losing, but it didn't mean anything. It made me even more confident for the away, like for the home, like that.
So that was at Porto, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So in years gone by, you would have gone, right, we need to fucking get a goal here. Because
if we can pick a 1-0 or a 1-1, you go back to the Emirates, you're absolutely buzzing, yeah.
Yeah. Whereas at 1-0, the team's probably like, nah, you know what, we'll do them too. We'll probably do them by a couple at home. Takes that needle out of it. And how many amazing ties have we seen over the years settled on away goals? And it was so dramatic and fed so much into what made the Champions League so special.
Even loved having to do that little bit of math, that little bit. Oh, it was 2-1, but we was away.
So how many do we need?
And now they're 2-0 up, switch it on, and there's 10 minutes gone, and we're already 2-0 down. I'm like, right, Arsenal need 5 here against Barcelona. Remember that, then the good old days, as we call them. David Villa's already on an hat trick, and I'm like, I've not even had my tea yet.
I don't think we're going through, lads. I don't think we're doing it this time.
Save face. So the away goals one, I would like to see in some capacity, because maybe if they just bring it into the because eventually this new format will go into a tree style knockout round, but yeah, hopefully they can. I would like away goals to be brought back in that point, because I think that will add something to that next bit of the tournament.
Yeah, big time. It's essentially the same after that little weird league is over, but then you get the bottom 8. Is it the bottom 8? 8, 16?
Yes.
No, because there's 36 teams.
36 teams. I miss it's 12. There's 3 sections of 12, sorry.
Right. So yeah, the bottom 12, they just go out.
Yeah.
Middle 12 playoffs, top 12 through. So it's not mad complicated. I think, again, in football, we're traditional. We don't like change. We just want everything to stay the way it is. I'll tell you one thing that it probably will cause to happen is Jurgen Klopp's favourite topic, which you won't have to worry about now, is the number of games it's going to. I think you are generally going to start seeing Man City just caving on things like the League Cup.
Yeah.
Because you rather than 6 group games, you're going to play 8, I believe. and then if you do the playoffs, then that's another 2, and then the round of 16, and so on.
Yeah, so they're going to do a draw for your fixtures instead of your groups, because there are 12 teams in your section based on seeding, and then you play 2 from each, 2 teams from top group, 2 teams from the middle group, 2 teams from the bottom group, depending on which one you are in. So that'll be 8 games. Yeah.
Is that right? Or is that 6?
6 games. Hold on. No, there's 6 games currently. See? I don't fucking know. We need to we need some clarity on this. That's what I heard, that it was 2 from each. So, but like I said, yeah, there is currently 6 games in the group stage. There's now going to be 8. So they've got to fit them 2 in somewhere else. Everyone, including us now, has a form of winter break. So whether they bring it back early or they started earlier, it usually starts around, middle of September, second week in September. Maybe they started a week earlier than that and they try and squeeze another one in there. But yeah, definitely the first 1 or 2 are going to be a bit confusing, and there's going to be a bit of it's going to be a bit of an asterisk. I mean, the simplest way is to just win all your frigging games and see what happens. You can end up with a trophy, but I feel like there's just going to be an asterisk against the winner of this first version of it, because it'd be like Real Madrid didn't fully understand it properly yet, so we were too busy thinking about that Super League money.
Shit this.
Yeah, shit this. Let's go back. We used to win it all the time.
So, right, I've just live research, because just to clarify, so you play 8 games, but you don't play, it's not like you play the same 4 teams home and away.
No, yeah, it's just teams. 8 fixtures, yeah.
4 home, 4 away. So you could go, Arsenal could play Roma away, but not at the Emirates, and you get someone else at the Emirates or whatever.
Well, I'm interested to see that bit of it, because there will, and I know we're going to be thinking about the luck of the draw a lot more on this one in terms of your fixtures, but
big time.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how that all plays out.
We're gonna,
like I said, we don't have a fix for this one because the fix is already in place. I think it's just us giving our opinion. Yeah,
been fixed for it. Yeah, I think it's. I don't think it's going to make the Champions League, because I think the reasons for the Champions League kind of falling off a bit aren't related to the format. The format was fine, and this format isn't. Yeah. This format's not like, it's just different. It's not. I don't think it's any worse in particular. It just is what it is. But I think the reasons. And another small point, and I understand why this isn't a thing anymore. But it not being on ITV anymore is poo. It's just
a version of it needs to be free to air, doesn't it?
Because even if Chelsea are in it, I'm not paying £30 a month to have BT Sport, and I achieve my football fixtures legally and not through pirated means. So I'm just not gonna pay that. And yeah, those nights when you, like, obviously going back a few years now, you get home from school Wednesday, finish football training, you get in,
exactly,
Champions League's on, brilliant, perfect. Like, that's a big thing for it. I think you're kind of restricting you're massively restricting the audience, and I don't see why you'd want to do that. But obviously, money talks for the TV deal.
Yeah, I'd love for them to sort something out for that, get it back, and they get the final on all the channels. And I think the final's been actually on YouTube Live for the last couple of years as well.
Yeah, they put it on free. I remember the Chelsea City one was. Whether, I don't know if that was like a COVID thing though, to like give people something to do.
Maybe, but I do want to see the return of a lot more free-to-air football. We spoke about this in a bit of our TV package one. I think I don't, if I'm honest, I don't see it getting any better or cheaper for anyone anytime soon, because people are going to start needing money from somewhere. Why would the Premier League lower their cost? It's like Sky already pay us 1.2 billion. We don't want you try and offer us 700 million. You'll find us on Netflix, bet.
Exactly. So that's something that's never going to change for the better. But it takes some of that magic away. You can just flick ITV on, and that makes you then watch other games and watch other teams and find players who you've never seen before. Like
exactly, I would 100% watch Shakhtar v Celtic if it was on ITV one night. But there's no way even if I paid for TNT or whatever it's called now.
Yeah.
Even if I paid for that, I don't think I'll be switching it on at this point. Just
okay.
more of yeah. I'm like, well, I'm not paying for that. So yeah, you're right. So I think, is the Champions League dead? It's on the brink. Hopefully,
I think I think it's
hopefully this new
some.
is my overriding opinion is hopefully this new format can spice it up again. At least this first one's going to be interesting, if nothing else.
Yeah, it's going to make it different. It's going to make it a new viewing experience. But yeah, I think there's reasons why it's losing its shine, and I think they're kind of out UEFA's hands. To be honest, I think the biggest thing is the monopoly of the Premier League, just weakening every other league in the world, making it England stick the rest of Europe pretty much.
We are the Super League. Yeah, well,
yeah, literally, we've already got one. It's the Premier League.
So I think Juventus are holding out for an invite to the Premier League.
Yeah, that's the only reason they've done it, because they're all broke. And Premier League clubs were just like, we don't want to miss out on it, but we're calm if we're fine if it doesn't go ahead.
100%. You see the strength. And there was a stat this weekend. There was like a Northern Conference fixture, and we're in beginning of March, and they're getting 7,500 at a Northern Conference match.
It was
attendance.
Scunthorpe and somebody else. I can't remember the other team.
Unbelievable. There's teams in La Liga that would love the 7,500 to turn up. There's teams in Serie A that are struggling to break 10,000 on a regular basis in terms of attendance. So we're
built different over here when it comes to football.
Special for such a small country. We love our footy. Right, we're going to wrap it up there because the Mighty Gunners are kicking off. If you listen to this, that means Arsenal won. If you are holding on to this recording, that means we lost to Sheffield United and I ended it all. So, right. Hold on, I'm just trying to think. I don't think we had a question last week, or did we?
Question last week was, who received the first ever red card in the Premier League?
Oh, no, that was the week before. Because you were on. Yeah, it was. Was it? Oh no. Yeah, you're right. It was.
It was last week, wasn't it?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Go on.
Gaslighting me into thinking I've missed a week of my life. Brian McAllister.
There we go.
1993, right towards the end of the first Premier League season, and got sent off against Man United. I think, is it Man United?
Yeah.
Anyway, smashed into someone, got a red card.
Fair enough. No, you cut out for a second then, but it was because we lost you at half time last week. So I answered the.
You did, of course.
And then I forgot if we answered one. So if I haven't asked one, I forgot it already, and I'm being unprepared. But the Gunners are on, so we'll catch you all next week. And lawyers permit. I think that's all I can say. I'm getting shushed by the lawyers. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Cut it. Right, Scott. Love you. I'll catch you soon.
Yeah. See you soon.